Wow, I don't know about you, but that weekend went by way too fast. But the only good thing about the weekend being over is that it's the start of a new week and you get a bell ringer today, right now. Let's go. All right. Hey now.
Mr. Kovacs Class. It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
You might learn a ton.
It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
It's interesting too.
It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
And he's super cool.
It's Mr. Kovacs Class.
Yeah, I know. It's fascinating. I mean, where did it all start? I mean, those are the big questions. Oh, pardon me. I was talking to my good friend Charles Darwin here, and we like to discuss deep philosophical things, including esoteric questions like, what is the meaning of life, or how did life begin? And in fact, since we're studying life science, we're studying living environment, we need to get a good grasp of what it means to be alive. And let's look first at the history of life. Life has been around on this planet for quite a long time, and will probably be on this planet, that's what he says anyway, long after we're gone. So what is life? Where did it come from? What do you need to be alive? In the beginning, there was no life, at least not on this planet. We know that there's a long period of time on our planet when no life existed, and then suddenly life sprang up. We left evidence of it behind. What was it like back before there was life on Earth? How do we know? Those are the big questions. One of the things we know by looking at the rocks that were around 4 to 5 billion years ago at the beginning is that the Earth's atmosphere was very different than it is now. So the atmosphere is that thin skin of gases that exists on right above the surface of the planet. And just like now, there was a lot of nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, but there also was a lot of carbon dioxide. Most water existed as gas. Other gases you might recognize are H2 is hydrogen, H3 is ammonia, CH4 is methane, CO is carbon monoxide. It was a mixture of just kind of disgusting group of toxic chemicals. That was in the beginning. Then we know something happened on the Earth about 4 million years ago, 4 million years ago. The planet cooled. It cooled immensely. And the water vapor portion of Earth, that was Earth, in the atmosphere, became liquid. We don't see any life develop on this planet until after there's liquid water in the oceans. And that's what the Miller-Urey hypothesis was testing. Miller-Urey experiment that you watched in an Edpuzzle last week was the idea of, like, could we create, could we recreate the atmosphere and the way the planet was during the primitive Earth and see if that could bring about biological molecules. And what they found was that it could, right? Here's Miller and Urey, they were scientists. What they knew was there were oceans when life began. So they used water, and they used like a saline, salty water, just like primitive oceans would have. Okay? And they knew that even back then, there was a water cycle. So they knew if you heat the ocean water, it evaporates, and then if you can cool it again, it'll condense back into liquid. So it evaporates into air as water vapor, then condenses back into liquid. And they also had a good idea of what was in the atmosphere. So they put in the gas in their apparatus, they put the things that you would find in the atmosphere. There are methane, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, ammonia, those kinds of things. And then they knew that nothing really ever happens spontaneously without some kind of energy input. So they put in an energy input of electricity, which is supposed to mimic the lightning storms and electrical storms that we still have to this day. And what did they find? They found this. Pretty exciting, eh? Yeah, they found chains of what we call amino acids. Amino acids. And what makes that important is amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And proteins are the chemicals that run life. And it's all life on this planet depends on proteins. Proteins to act like enzymes, to speed up chemical reactions, to act like structural pieces, to hold living things together. You need proteins to signal, to communicate to other cells. So the Miller-Urey hypothesis did not prove that life arose magically from nothing, but it did prove that from nothing, or at least from the mixture of gases and liquids in the early atmosphere, you could get the building blocks of proteins. Huge, because if you have the building blocks of proteins, you can put those proteins together and they can become more specialized and can do different things. The key, and what we'll learn soon, is that one of the key issues of life is life can pass on the information about its proteins to the next generation. It took a while to figure out how that happened. All right, but now we've studied Miller-Urey hypothesis. You can generate biological molecules from the primitive atmosphere and early ocean of the Earth.